Let's talk about Wolverine Sculpketch. I love this one. I'm kind of into this like 3D that looks like 2D.
Since this is like a sculpt sketch for me, I have limited time, so I wanted this to look good only from one angle. I even use clay builder for painting.
So you take off the sculpting and you just use
Yeah, and RGB intensity, so this is how I raise it. I think it is by default something here. So if you just raise it.
So it makes it more opaque because it's like not as sensitive.
It feels like oil painting here with this something. Yeah, even if you see I've painted the reflected orange light there.
Yeah, the like bounce light. Yeah, dude, it's so sick. Hello and welcome to Pixel Peeps, the show where we take a deeper dive and closer look at some of today's best digital artwork along with the artists that create them. Today, I have with me Rishikesh Nandlaskar. He's been a professional modeler and sculptor for over 20 years. He's worked for Rhythm and Hues, Frame Store, and Sideshow Collectibles, to name a few. He's also a 3D art educator online. He's an instructor at Think Tank, and he makes his own tutorials and awesome content. Linked below in the description, check out some of his tutorials. He just released one recently. Also the link to this high quality artwork, like in full resolution along with his other art, is there. So check out the links in the description. Also, before jumping in, I want to mention that I made a change to my Discord community. It's now completely members only or private, so like not anyone can join. And we made that change to cut down on people, like their spam, and also self-promotion, and you know, the community can just grow to just become like a Discord community and the conversation gets away from 3D. So now the only way to join is to either join here on YouTube as a member or Patreon. There's a new tier just for the community at $3 a month. So if you used to be in the community or you're looking to join a 3D art community and you're serious about it, you know, take a look. $3 a month. And yeah, we do like co-working sessions, obviously really talented people in there. We did a challenge recently with the helmet where a bunch of the community members all joined in a competition, a friendly competition with a prize actually, for texturing this helmet demo, and really cool to see. So a lot of talented people in there, really cool stuff. And we hope to do something like that, some kind of event every month. Yeah, without further ado, let's jump in and learn some more from Rishikesh. Let's talk about this Men in Yellow Wolverine Sculpketch. Yeah, thanks for coming on and everything. And I definitely wanted to talk to you. You have a lot of awesome artwork, obviously. But yeah, this one in particular, you know, when we talked about chatting, what will we chat about? I love this one. I'm kind of into this like, you know, 3D that looks like 2D, if you want to call it that, and different styles of 3D and a lot of just cool stuff coming out. And I just think you hit such an awesome style here based on the concept and everything, but like just the way the brush strokes are and the model. So yeah, can't wait to get into it. But yeah, really, really awesome. Really awesome result.
I'm glad to know you like it, and
yeah, you'll love it.
Means a lot.
Yeah, so maybe some just quick, basic questions right off the rip of some things that would be good to know is like, why did you initially decide to do this artwork? What was the kind of initial inspiration, and how long did it take?
Yeah, so basically, all this started when I purchased the Cintiq for the first time now, like which is like 6 months back, and then the coincidence was that I had to go for a vacation like 2 days later, and the Cintiq had just arrived home, and I said, oh, I have to kind of put my hands on the Cintiq, try something, and something very quick, right? And I usually do a lot of quick stuff every week. Not everything makes to the social media there. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters, and I thought, okay, why not? Let's try that, because I have done a lot of Wolverines before, but I wanted to do something with an open mouth as well. So I said, okay, let's start doing it. And that's how I get started on this Wolverine Sculpketch, which I call. And I will let you know why I call this Sculpketch later on.
Yeah, great, cool. Yeah, no, when we got on, I saw that Wolverine you made too behind you. So yeah, great way to test the Cintiq. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then what softwares are used for this image? For this
this is just ZBrush and Photoshop for the post-production a little bit, not much, but awesome, just ZBrush, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Wow. Even like the little highlights on the teeth, or is that some Photoshop?
Yeah, that's just the toy plastic shader from ZBrush.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, sweet. Okay. Well, maybe before we take a look at like what it looks like in ZBrush and maybe kind of like how you start these things, you know, now that you finished and everything, what was like the hardest part about this project for you?
The hardest part about short projects is that you don't know what's the output going to be. And for me, since this is like a sculpt sketch for me, I don't bother about it. I didn't even know that I'm going to post it later on. I just wanted to enjoy the process on my Cintiq. I wanted to get my hands on the Cintiq. I wanted to feel it basically. I was like itching to get it because I didn't want to go to the vacation and then come back after 2 weeks where I can see my Cintiq on in front of me, right? So the process of how it's going to look was a bit challenging because I had it in my mind that I wanted something painterly, which I have not done much before. I have done few, but since I have limited time, I just wanted to use very limited brushes and maybe just paint in ZBrush itself and render in ZBrush itself. So don't want to go out of the software. Basically finish this in like 10 to 15 hours, like divided into 2 days, and like take the final illustrations to my vacation and like post it from there.
Okay, great. So did I hear you right too that when you started, posting wasn't
No.
You didn't need to, right? It was just like it came out nice in the end and you're like, sweet, I'll post it.
Yeah, I always think that if you trust your process, most of your artwork kind of ends up going into the social media or your portfolio. So that's what I did, and because I had that experience of doing like a lot of self sketches, I thought maybe it might go, but let's see, like I was just talking to myself, just do your best. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you can see here we got lots of reactions and like I loved it and everything too. So I've had that happen a couple times. I think that's great. It's almost like the purest form is you're doing it for these certain reasons. It comes out nice. You share it. It resonates with people. And you weren't, that wasn't the number one goal. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, maybe we could take a look. Then I'd love to see like what like the source files look like and how you start these things and trying to learn a little bit more about your process.
Yeah, so I started with a spear.
All right, great.
Yeah, basically I like to do these small projects, as you call it, bricks, I guess, bricks and pillars, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's like pre-workouts. So basically,
definitely.
started from scratch so that you can, stretch your muscles and stuff like that. So yeah, I started with a spear and then just pull off the basic skull shape. And at this point, I don't bother about anything, no proportion. I don't even know how big the skull is there right now. Later on, I will change it if it requires for the rendering. Then I just, pull off, just use Dynamesh. If you see, it's just Dynamesh all over.
And you're starting to add multiple objects already, right? The eyes
Oh
and the
yeah,
teeth.
yeah. So basically that helps me to kind of, have a nice separation of the eyes with the sockets and the eyelids. It's very clean because if you just start sculpting the eyes with the eyelids, it can get very quickly mushy, which is fine. You can do it, but I'm basically trying to be economical with the time, like trying to save time. So this is what helps me. So even for the teeth, I just put some placeholder primitives from ZBrush and then just pull it off the whole body from
now is this body a separate? It is, right? The body's separate too?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. So you're still pulling and dynameshing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I just keep doing that. Like, I know it looks ugly.
No, it looks good. But also it's pretty dense for Dynamesh, huh? I mean, I'm curious, like, if you do or when you do make a kind of a proper base mesh with ZBrush, or if you do that.
Yeah, I will do it later on. For now, what I do is I just quickly pull off all the shapes. So I don't care. It's like playing with the clay, right? Like,
it's like very clay.
Just play it like that. Yeah, as soon as I feel it starts getting heavier, then maybe I'll just reduce the resolution sometimes and again go back. So this might be a file where it gets dense, but there might be files where it has, gone lower as well. Okay. So yeah, I keep playing with the resolution. So yeah, that's there. So I start refining the teeth as well. So even the teeth are being made inside ZBrush, like no presets. Because I can use presets, teeth which are available in ZBrush, or I can just download a teeth set as well. But I just want to see how I can push myself, because this is not a production model at all. So why not play with it, and see how much I know about it. So yeah. So fight that as well. I might be like
just something about that. Now you mentioned that, I feel like with the smaller projects, studies and stuff, I find that I make a lot more from scratch, and in actual
Yeah.
production work
Yeah.
is where you do a lot of the cheating, if you want to call it that, where you use stuff that, because why not? You're just saving time and everything.
Yes, yes. Yeah, for production, I think it's the right way of doing it because you are doing a service or getting paid for something. You have a limited time and you have to hit the benchmark of quality work, right? So we don't want to have those kind of practices while there. It's better to do those kind of stuff here, like in your sculpt sketches or like practice sketches. For my clients, I try to use my base meshes. I have my
Yeah.
base mesh.
Yeah. Even starting from a sphere is like extra difficulty, but it's just for like, practicing and
Yeah,
right.
yeah, just for practicing. Yeah, basically it kind of gives you the confidence while sculpting, even with the base mesh. If you keep
Yeah.
sculpting with spear or any primitives, when you actually go with the base mesh, it actually helps you to have more confidence while sculpting.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah.
So it's like doing a pre-workout instead of even directly going for heavy lifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that too. It's like training with weights or something, and then it's easier when you take the weights off.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just pulled up the whole body, and then if you see even I just put some dimensioned marks on his neckline there. So here, if you see, I've started to Z-remesh this
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so that I can now get slightly lower resolution, which I can switch from lower to the higher. And I basically reprojected the details from my Dynamesh model to get the details. And then now from here, I continue adding more details. So now, even if it's high, I can quickly go low and like make the proportion changes if I need. And now I have the liberty to make proportion changes and see, how it kind of works. Because the thing is, I have limited time, so I wanted this to look good only from one angle.
Yep.
I didn't think about a turntable or 3D print at this stage. So this was kind of the angle I think I wanted. And I knew that I'm going to crop this part. So I'm not worried, but I just wanted to keep it clean as much as possible. And then I started adding the beard. So all these are mostly very simple brushes I'm using, like the clay built-up standard, Damien standard, smooth brushes, some masks. That's it, not much. Only for this beard, I use this a nice brush here. It's called Scales A. It's available
interesting.
in ZBrush.
Scales, huh?
So basically, you can,
Oh, wow. Interesting.
yeah. So
So it's
it
maybe
kind
like
of-
a little bit less sharp version
Yeah.
of Snake Hook, kind of?
kind
Not-
of, yeah.
Not so
yeah.
strong?
This accidentally, I kind of discovered this. Like it was lying in ZBrush Lightbox, I guess.
Yeah.
So now I brought it out in my shortcuts here and here, I guess. So yeah, I think it kind of give it a nice look. And
Yeah,
it kind
definitely.
of overlaps a little bit, so give it a nice beard look. And let's see.
Now, what about the like design? Did you have a main inspiration or concept?
For me, it's like, Wolverine is such a popular character. Like everyone does Wolverine, right? So
Yeah.
there's not much doing or searching for references. But because I've done like at least 5 or 6 Wolverines before. So if you just make a nice portrait with a beard or without beard, just put a
Yeah.
mask with fins and a yellow vest. That's it. You have your Wolverine in hand, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
so-
I think you definitely humble about it, because I think I did a Wolverine too, and there's a lot of different directions you can go. I love Wolverine as a character, and you just, even though you did it in 3D, and we're gonna get to like how it looks more like a painting, but like in the end, it's like a sick concept painting. Like it could be a comic book cover of Wolverine. Like it is an awesome Wolverine design too, and the expression and everything. So you did a great job, not only
Thanks,
with
man.
the style or whatever, but you like created a Wolverine look. That's sick.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm very much inspired for Arcane, as everyone does. But of course, it's not like that. But I wanted to do a painting in ZBrush, like poly painting, and I knew that I have limited time, so I cannot do something realistic. And I love comic characters, like, and the comic style. If you see my Instagram page or my portfolio, I have a lot of comic style stuff. So I basically also paint the shadows and the lights a little bit in such a way that maybe I'll explain you later when I come to the
Yeah.
polyprint stuff. But yeah, I still went on to Pinterest, which is my favorite place to go and search for references to see some styles you can take from. But yeah, most of it from the Arcane kind of a style.
Yeah, these are cool. What was the inspiration for these
Yeah,
kind
yeah. I
of
think
flying
I
off
saw it
things?
from some of the references on Pinterest. It was long back, so
Cool.
I'm not sure. But I kind of interpreted it like it's kind of ripped off. Spandex is of his cloth or costume. It just come out and like kind of curled or something like that. But without a texture, we can also think about something else, like some alien thing coming out of his body or something like that. But for me, it was like more of ripped off thin spandex parts of his costume, and then they're so thick that they kind of curl onto it themselves. So that was
It's cool. It gives it more energy. Hey, here we go. Look at that. Wow, big jump. How long did you spend doing the painting?
painting was like 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours max. Not much.
Good.
Yeah, because painting becomes super quick because I'm a basically commercial artist by education, so I love painting and drawing a lot. But then later on, as you progress in your career, you have to start focusing, and I started focusing on sculpting. But I love painting and drawing as well.
Well, I mean that you should do more like this too. I mean, I know you are doing like the series, but the painting is it's very sophisticated. Well, first I'll just comment, like, looking at the finished work, the way that there's color, like kind of bounce lighting, and then there's also like visible brush strokes in certain directions. We can see it on his trap, and then on the hooded part, like, it feels like a very confident painter where you're just like, you're doing stuff and it looks great and there's not second guessing or whatever. So definitely comes across. I would love, I just worked on a project too where I painted in ZBrush for like the same kind of reasons, just because it's fun and Arcane's awesome and it seems easy to do. I had trouble, yours looks very much like maybe a painting done in Photoshop or something, and with mine, I was just using basic stuff, and so like in ZBrush, like you'll see the brush kind of like dot dot dot, and it wasn't as, I didn't know how to do like creamy smooth brush strokes. So anyways, it'd be cool to see if how you're doing it.
Yes, so basically there's a brush called R Paint. I think it's there.
It's just called Paint, right? It's in the default.
I think it's Paint. I call it R Paint because I want to I make some small changes here and there. So it's a paint brush basically. So I think it has good settings there. Yeah, so these are the settings for it.
Okay.
Or if you just use a standard brush with those settings in the strokes, that should work.
And you can go pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
Like you can make pretty fast strokes and it'll be smooth.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, that's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it is smooth. It is.
And did you even do a little pressure size thing or no?
Yeah. So
to taper it?
Yeah, exactly. So what I do is I usually just take down the RGB intensity and like kind of mix it with that, and that if I want to, something like that. So I play with the RGB intensity. Also, I think with the paintbrush, sometimes it doesn't give you that creamy strokes.
Yeah.
So what I do sometimes is I go to brush, tablet pressure, and RGB intensity. So this is how I raise it. I think it is by default something here. So if you just raise it, you kind of, so let's see, taking it down.
So it makes it more opaque because it's like not as sensitive to the pressure.
See?
Is that right?
So now I have to like push really hard to get that. So even if let's see, So it's not giving me that creamy thing, right?
Okay, cool,
and this
dude.
goes at return. So so even this
nice,
I kind
awesome.
of discovered there. All right, let me undo this.
I'm gonna have to try these brush settings because for some reason, like the only way I could get clean lines was to go very slowly. I don't know why it would like. So anyways, I'll try to copy these settings.
I think you should try that. This is really cool because even I was having the same issue before, and like that's what happens. When you do such quick projects, you kind of how do I do this? I don't have time, and let's search or let's do something. And in that process, I found that tablet pressure thing, and it's kind of a cheat actually because it's basically changing. I think the tablet pressure for everything. I'm not sure, but it works for painting, so it's okay. Sometimes I have to reset ZBrush; it gets buggy if you kind of mess up with that tablet pressure thing.
Okay.
But for painting, it worked fine. This is that paintbrush, and I also use this one. I think it's a paintbrush as well, but then with this alpha. I think it's alpha 62, or you can even use any alpha.
Oh, and that's to get your little hash marks there?
Yeah, so...
Okay. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Did I change
all right,
it?
cool to see.
So you just play around like oil painting, like...
this is great.
So basically, I'm not trying to implement lighting, very deliberately. I'm trying to mix it in such a way that, even if you have an albedo color, it has variations, right? So I'm trying to mix it like that. So even if it has to be lit in a software, it will work. It should work, basically. I'm not trying to hard code it like, okay, the light is coming only from one direction. So that's why if you see from all the directions, it's kind of works.
Yeah,
I've
it
tried to
does
mix
work
the
pretty
tones. So I've tried to mix the tones of not letting the viewer know where the actual highlight might be or where the light source might be.
It's kind of
Maybe from
ambient right now. Kind of
yeah,
feels
exactly.
ambient, top-down ambient.
Yeah, top-down ambient. Like maybe you can feel it over here on top of his head. But I can say that it's kind of a nice shin leather which has a nice variation on its albedo as
Yeah.
well. So that's kind
Yo,
of a
shout out to your guy's brow, bro. It looks sick. The front view. You don't get to appreciate the front view very much in the final. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like a crazy, Joker Batman, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Dude, you should do some Batmans too, dude. This is sick.
Yeah.
So did you know at this point, did you know how you were gonna render it, or are you experimenting kind of the whole time? Do you know if there's
I
gonna
was
be a cast shadow? Okay.
Yeah, because at this point I thought I'm not sure how it's going to look or how
Yeah.
should I present it. With my final aim for all my sculpt sketches are I want to make my sketches a bit presentable. But I'm not sure how it's going to look. But that's fine with me.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see that how I can do with ZBrush render passes, few of them.
Yeah.
But I think even for this, I didn't even use much that render passes, I think. But I'll show you that later. So now I'm like doing some subtle changes.
It's like some polish now.
Yeah, so this is like a toy plastic shader. So
Yeah.
if I fill object, so that shader is gone. So
Yeah.
if I just use a toy plastic there with material on, fill object.
Would you mind zooming into the teeth there? Is this towards the end? Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. So you can see there's some color that you're painting, and also it looks like, to break up the highlight, because the highlight has these interesting shapes on all the teeth. So you have to be messing with the surface form, right? To
So I just
design
do
the highlight
some,
shape.
Yeah, exactly. I just do some random clay buildup or standard, just not to make it smooth, so that it kind of
the way that the little white dances around. I mean, it really does look like how you would just dot it on with some
this one.
with a white paint or whatever if you were doing a 2D. Yeah, that's really awesome. Very successful.
And I didn't even have time for this X thing, so I thought, okay, let's just make the symbol there of X, and then since I eventually thought of having this as the angle, this highlight kind of makes sense as well. So it's kind of cheating, but I didn't mind that. The thing is, see, this is like a thumbnail for me, like a thumbnail sketch. So if I have to put this into production later on, I can do that. I can make a nice logo there, like a 3D one. I can basically, I have to neutralize his face and like do a retopo and unwrap it, texture it in Substance Painter or something like that, and like render it out in Arnold. Or but I know that will take a lot of time. This will take just maybe a day or maximum 2. That's it. So that's the purpose of this project, right? Now I'll show you the one I did before. So basically, you must be knowing that I have done a tutorial for this, like whole course of step by step, like full real-time recording and commentary as well with the sped up one. So if you see this one, so this is the older one basically, and it took the same amount of time. And if you see, it has a bit of a different look to it.
Yeah.
So this was the one actually I did in that 10 hours, right? And then there were a lot of comments on Instagram saying that, we want tutorial, I want to see how your process is. But I didn't record this one. At that, I said, okay, people want to know about it. And even I wanted to, show the steps, everything. So basically, I redid the whole Wolverine again.
Wow.
Second time, and this is the difference,
Nice.
And this, because I'm doing it second time, it become more crispier, more better than the previous one, right? And with the same amount of time. So that's the plus point of doing these sketchings, because now it has been embedded into my brain, right? And I know what to do in what steps. So if I took 10 to 15 hours for first one, maybe I took like a couple of hours less on this one.
Yeah.
So I already increased my speed as well with the paint.
Yeah, great, man.
And one more thing, if you use, I even use clay builder for painting. So if I just clay builder and like use RGB.
So you take off the sculpting and you just use RGB.
Yeah, and if you just see that.
Oh yeah, that is nice actually.
It feels like oil painting, with if you have this chisel thing. So if you just lower the intensity a little bit, so you can nicely So this basically, since you have the control on the strokes, then you can kind of move around as per the liking. And if you don't like, you just basically overlap with the neighboring color, take it off. So basically, keep building the colors on top of each other. Just how people or the artists paint the miniatures. They kind of build the colors on top of each other. So you can use a similar method, but of course you have to have your intensity of RGB a bit less so that they start overlapping and kind of builds up a lot of colors on top of each other. So those subtle changes makes a lot of difference sometimes. It makes it feel like painterly.
Yeah, I mean I think the subtle brushstrokes and color work is what took it to another level.
Yeah.
You can tell you've painted a lot before.
Yeah, and then I also use, I think, this one with very thin brush there to get those strokes. So because it has a
Ooh.
nice dark color there, so when I put a stroke, it kind of, so it gives a nice highlights there. So similarly with the black lines. I kept it very sketchy, like you use a ball pen for sketching.
Yeah.
That kind of feel I wanted to for this character.
But is it like, is it one of those things where like it's made to look like it's made with a pen with a lot of energy, but you're like meticulously, slowly
Exactly.
making it fat and then thin?
Yeah, because also when I do this, maybe not for this character, but if maybe I'm not sure if I get time to show the Cyclops, I deliberately put those lines in particular areas so that even if it has to rotate, it kind of doesn't look that bad. Because there are other techniques as well where people are like duplicating the mesh and like flipping it off and then putting the black color to get the outline, right? So there's one more technique, but then since I didn't have time and I wanted to just use these brushes and finish off this project, this was a technique I go to a specific angle and like see if it works from this angle and doesn't. So if it's not working from there, maybe I'll paint it off and again redo that a little bit. So what that is more clear on my other project, like Cyclops one, where I learned these things on this Wolverine.
Oh, okay, cool. How much of the time would you say, in your 2 days or 2 kind of sessions, was it like mostly 50-50 where the first part's modeling and the second part's the painting, or did one part take longer than the other?
Yeah, I think the modeling I spent a lot, like 60 and then 40 for painting.
Okay.
Yeah. Modeling is definitely more because once you have your forms kind of what you like, paint will just enhance it. So
nice.
Yeah, and the paint for me goes very quickly. That form making.
Yeah, it's great. You could really like do like conceptual art and paintings and you can make
so basically when I was in VFX industry, right, that's what actually made me apart from other modelers as well. And I'll also suggest people who are watching this or modelers who want to get into the industry, that this kind of approach helps your supervisors in your VFX studio. I'm not sure in gaming how it works, because mostly my time was spent in VFX, where what happens is the client kind of sends off some vague drawings sometimes to the supervisor, and then the supervisor kind of approaches the modeler, or can you sculpt or model this, something like that. And I've seen a lot of modelers just spending weeks modeling it, then showing it to supervisors, and then it's a long process to get the approval, right? And I thought of why not just quickly do a sculpt in the pose of the drawing which they have given, and also render it out using polypaint and try, because sometimes the concepts they have given are painted as well. So I try to recreate that in 3D so it looks like concept art. So, and when you move it, they can, oh wow. So they kind of approve it very immediately, and the supervisor are happy, right? Okay, yeah, the concept is approved, so now the modeler can sit on it for weeks and finish it off. So my part of concept sculpting gets kind of appreciated by my supervisors there. It's really cool that after that I always used to get concept sculpting most of the times, and I should do this quick sculpting with painting. So my personal work actually helped me even in that. So that's why I always tell students or upcoming artists that keep on doing your personal work. That is more important than I think even the job sometimes, because in job what happens sometimes you not necessarily get cool work to do when you enter the industry. And the best part is you go home, do your own stuff, right? No one is stopping you. You can do cooler stuff than what you get in the studio. And you start putting it on your portfolio or like social media. Your supervisors check it out anyways, they know, and then they say, okay, let's try this guy, for sculpting next time. So that's a better way of getting the cool models to yourself.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, yeah, I definitely echo that. I hope people keep it up in a healthy way, and also like there's the creative satisfaction, which is
Mhm.
huge. I think it's so good for morality
Yeah,
and not getting tied up in your job, because as you say, you don't choose what you work on.
exactly.
But also, even like every time, it's happens in unexpected ways. But you've already pointed out in this project, and you're like years in, right? That you stumbled upon some brushes, you found a brush setting to get a certain effect. And I find that happens all the time in personal work, is
Yeah.
we're able to experiment
Yes.
and play around,
Yes.
and you like learn stuff, and then on the actual job I feel like I'm more using that stuff than
Exactly.
than taking time to play around. So you're playing around with your personal stuff
Yeah,
to
exactly.
learn. So yeah, what's this? This is like
Yeah,
a statue.
so basically once I made the whole tutorial, I thought I will also give my buyers or whoever have purchased that thing to learn the course with the model itself. And I made a 3D printable model. So this is
Nice.
one. I think I also tested that with one of my printer friends. So he made the supports for it, pre-supports, because I have a printer right now, but I have not yet started testing it out. So he helped me with the pre-supports and stuff. So this is what I gave it to
Sweet.
him. So he made it, and then I have put it as a free model for them who have purchased this course, so that if they want, they can have a look at it, or if they want, they can print it out and keep it on their desk,
Sweet,
something
dude.
like that. Yeah.
And
So
do you have any of these printed yet? Have you seen one in real life?
yeah, it's not with me, but I have the video. I will show you
Hell yeah.
1 second.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so she printed it, and basically because when I put my stuff as a HTL, I want proof, like, okay, it has
Yeah.
been tested. I don't want just
Yeah.
want to upload the HTL file and like it's broken. So Zuko is one of my friends who tested this out, and we printed that, and then I uploaded it for people to.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
So basically, I made use of my Sculpketch as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Could I see I don't know if you have a Photoshop file with the passes or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it'd be cool to see how you're turning it, from ZBrush to a finished image.
1 second.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
So basically for this I just use the shadow pass, not much,
Oh
but it
yeah,
is
not
very
much.
subtle, and most of it was the brightness and contrast and a subtle color balance changes. That's it, not much. But a lot of other projects which I have, I've done a lot of different passes to get
Mm.
different effects. But as I said, I was limited for this time. Just got the renders from ZBrush. So let me see if I can share that.
Are you doing it on like unlit material or the skin shade material, or
Yeah, the skin shadow. Yeah,
the
it's a
skin
skin
shade 4 or
shadow.
whatever? So it's like
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
bright,
Yeah,
but a little
exactly.
bit of shading then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I use the mask thing to just cut off the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing very nicely, and then I just paint off like a background with a
Yeah.
gradient, like a radial gradient, then maybe put a nice logo there which I want. And that's where I thought about this name Sculpketch. I said, okay, this is very quick. And like if you've seen the first one, right, it's like it has the sketchy lines and stuff. So I thought, okay, so I'm doing something like Sculpt and sketch, so let's put it as Sculpketch.
Yeah, I love it.
And like these are the different renders which I put it on. Yes, I said,
Okay, yeah,
great.
for your presentation.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so pretty simple
Yeah, very
Photoshop.
simple.
A lot done in
Yep.
ZBrush, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just share some of the settings which I use. So basically, if you go to render BPR shadows, I kind of use this at 50, angle at 100. It kind of gives a
Mhm.
soft shadow
Yeah.
thing. Rest I kept as it is, and then when I render it,
Are you moving the light? Are you positioning the light before?
no, not for this
Oh,
one.
okay.
But sometimes what happens is, if I don't see the highlight of the eyes,
Yeah.
then I kind of move it down till I see that highlight.
Yeah.
And
Makes
it
sense.
has still not affected the whole model much because of the way I've painted it. So I've still got the highlights as well
Yeah.
there, and it kind of pops out now. And then once you render it, you get your render passes,
Yeah.
and I export this to Photoshop and comp it as I showed you just now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even if you see I've painted the reflected orange light
Yeah, the
there.
like bounce light. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. So sick.
yeah. So it makes a lot
Yeah.
of difference to start, making it pop out.
Yeah. The painting really took it to the next level. I mean, it's an awesome model, like I say. And like the design, again, like you know, you see all the angles are very sharp and all this like direction, a lot of energy. So yeah, very cool.
Cool. Cheers, on.
What would you say is like the main thing or the biggest thing that you learned or kind of taken away from this? Seems like it may have influenced your future ones too. What was the main takeaway?
Yeah, the main takeaway was like I learned the new painting skills here. I should do it more in Substylized Painter as well before. But some of the brushes which I used here, like now I discovered the scale brush here, then the paint brush, techniques of how to kind of get the shapes quickly and make it presentable at the end. So that was the
Yeah.
takeaway from this. So I always say like don't get demotivated in between because there's this process where you start. Let me show you one image if I can. Should I?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I have done this long back for some of my students.
Yes. Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a long back I've done it for Side Academy. I think they're in Wales, so I think so I've done it for them. But I wanted to put my thought process and how people or artists sometimes struggle. I might be wrong, but this is what I feel, and that's what I'm trying to explain here. When you start a project, you are super excited. Your adrenaline is so high that you want to get started soon and like do a lot of stuff. So the first 70% is your fastest way, I feel. Maybe 60 or 70%, maybe somewhere around there, where you start sculpting, go to a level where you feel, oh, it's looking cool, cool, cool. And then at a point it comes where you start dipping a bit, where it slows down. You don't know how to carry forward, how to take it ahead, and you kind of come to a plateau where it's doing nothing for you, and then most of your work kind of gets shelved when you go into the dip like this, and like it gets shelved. You just want to do something new because you have already spent like few weeks, and you got bored with that work sometimes. So you again, maybe after a few weeks, you want to do a new concept, so you again go back. But if you
Yeah.
don't break this circle of trusting the process, you will always go into that loop. If you trust the process, you kind of climb it a bit hard. You learn new skills. You kind of search for other artists who are doing stuff, and try to implement that into your work, and try to kind of finish your work. Even if it's good or bad, try to finish it off. And that's where the final 10% comes, and you
Oh
kind
yeah.
of finish it, and you feel good about it. The confidence, it gives you a confidence boost, right?
Yes.
And once you hit that, you know the process. Or once you know the process, you know that I'm going to hit the demotivation point, and I know how to tackle that. So that's how I
Yeah,
explain
so
it.
that's and then when they drop down the plateau, that's the people that like,
Yeah,
it gets
yeah,
tough or they're
yeah,
not happy and then they start over because
yeah,
it's easier and it's more fun to start, right? A new
yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
this is super common. I
Yeah.
love that you're depicting the trust the process there of just someone walking over an invisible bridge like Indiana Jones or something. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
You just gotta you just gotta know that the bridge is there.
Yeah, this happened
That's
with my
cool.
very first project in my career. Like it was in 2003 when I was working on a challenge competition on CG Society. It was there,
Yeah.
and I think let me this one any time
Mm,
sooner or later. This is a very old one. This is from 2003,
yeah.
so
Maybe
yeah, it's very
but
old.
if it's pretty vague, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is very old. So I've been doing this personal work since that time. Like this is, and I was in the gaming industry that time, like, and I didn't get cool stuff to work, so I started
Yeah.
doing these challenges and stuff. So what happened?
I
Yeah,
do think I remember this.
yeah, it got the sixth place. It was
Mm-hmm.
I think international competition that time, and the thing is, I finished this whole stuff. It was a 3-month competition, and I used 3D Max Studio that time. And it got kind of finished, but I didn't like it, so I didn't want to submit it. But one of my colleagues, he came to my side and said, Rishi, why don't you just try a different angle and view it to perspective and render it out? That's where I tried it. I liked it. I submitted. I even won one of the prizes there, and that actually taught me a lesson. Trust the process. Like you have done it good. It's just that maybe look at it from a different perspective. You might completely change the way you look at your own stuff, which might not be looking good.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of treated that throughout my career, and it helped me a lot. So trusting
Yeah,
the
great. I mean,
process.
another thing I'd tell people in the same kind of line of advice is that if you are starting a lot and then stopping and letting yourself stop and restart, it is one is kind of training a groove that you probably don't want to be doing. Now it gets easier and easier to bail. But also, if you see what's happening, if there's the whole process, you're getting the most reps and experience in the beginning.
Mhm.
And what we all want is to make work that
Yeah.
we're proud of and we feel like is a reflection of our skills. And if you're not doing that last 10%, then you're
Yes.
never going to get better. Then you won't be able to do that. Like
Yeah.
you do have to finish projects that you think are not your best to
Exactly.
learn how to do it. So that is your best.
Yeah, that's so important. So I think if students or upcoming artists can know about that, that will help. Because the thing is, we learn the hard way sometimes, but when they kind of listen to these things, I hope they can implement it immediately so that they know, okay, I'm going to go through these phases, and these guys have talked about it. So maybe that might help them to, kind of know that trust the process thing.
Absolutely, man. It's great to hear you say it, and it's one of the reasons why I like talking to people and sharing it with other people that are interested in this stuff, because they'll hear the same kinds of things and they go, "Oh, this is part of it. This is the process." You know,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
is
exactly.
to feel doubt and all that and just push through.
Yeah, just imagine, right? I'm doing this for the second time, right? I just told you that I have to recreate this whole stuff. It's such a
Yeah.
boring thing, right? To recreate something, but I
Yeah.
did it with the same enthusiasm, because I just thought, okay, why not? Like, let's see how can it be better than before. Like,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
your file sometimes crashes, I don't cry.
Yeah.
Because I think, okay, maybe it has happened for the good. Maybe I'll do better than before, instead of, oh, I have done such a good job before. Instead of
Yes.
thinking that, just think I'll do better than what I did before. So
Great attitude. And I've noticed that I don't crash as much anymore, thank goodness. But yeah, anytime that would happen, we lose a bunch of work.
Yeah.
If you've finally mustered up, it's almost always better, right? Maybe
Yeah,
always it's
always.
better. About that, I usually ask people at the end of their project, like during talking about this, I'll say, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? So it's kind of interesting because you did do it twice. So maybe you could speak on what are the most tangible differences when you did it again. What were the things you intentionally did differently? What did you like more about it? Is there anything that you didn't like from the first time that you intentionally avoided? Like what's the difference?
Yeah, the only thing happened here was I was kind of conscious of doing second time, so I knew I wanted to do it more finished than before, because the first one which I did was more fluidly done. I wanted to do the same thing but in a finished manner. But then when I was comparing it with the before and after, I he looks kind of a beefy, which I wanted that look, but I didn't get that much. He kind of slightly leaned down. It still looks good, not that bad. But this had that beefy look which I wanted in the first part. So those things happen, but that's fine. I got a better finished thing. Now if you see the previous one, it is not as finished from this side. Right?
Yeah,
Like it's
definitely.
yeah, I didn't even try to paint this one. But since I was doing a tutorial and the course thing, I wanted to make it finish for everyone who kind of wants to enjoy this whole thing. And
I see. Yeah, more of a 3D model now.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it took the same amount of time. And for the proof, I have the real-time footage I have provided with that thing. So yeah, I enjoyed a lot doing second time. But that's because I was doing a tutorial. Maybe I will not do it every day. Or on every project. Yeah, it becomes a bit duller. But as you said, if file crashes, maybe you have to do something second time, or things like this in such incidences, or we have to do that. But other than that, yeah, of course, second time is not that enjoyable. But the only thing you can think positive is like, how do I do it better?
Great. Another question I like to ask people is what would you tell your younger self? What kind of advice would you give your younger self? I know we mentioned about trusting the process and that kind of lesson in 2003. Is that the kind of thing it would be, or if you could go back and give yourself a little piece of advice when you were coming up?
I think in the beginning, my time management was not that great, like working wise. But that as I started getting the jobs, what happens is you work from 9 to 5 lots of times, right? And I've seen people going very late from the office. And then I was thinking, how do I kind of do the job and still work on my personal projects, So that's where the time management kind of clicked for me. And I said, okay, whatever happens, I'm going to come on time in the office, maybe early, like an hour or half an hour early, plan everything, whatever the task is, and visualize everything that I have to finish this by the end of the day, like 5 o'clock. I don't want to sit like till 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, So I have to plan that. And I just started executing that because my aim was to go home.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give good work to my service, like whatever job I'm doing. I don't want to do any less work for them, so I want to do the best in that 8 or 9 hours and try to not waste time here and there. Finish it off, go back home as soon as possible, get ready, and start your juicy stuff. More juicy stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So slowly I kind of realized that later in my career, and but when I
Yeah.
realized it, I kind of gained a lot of confidence in my work while doing the jobs which I'm doing at in VFX, because my speed started increasing, my confidence started increasing. So whatever type of projects or creatures or whatever it is, I could do it very quickly because of that. So yeah, that helped me a lot. So if I could have done it earlier, maybe I could have been slightly more better probably. So yeah, that was one of the thing. Time management, I think, very important for artists. Even today, I think if you cannot manage the time, it's going to be very tough, even for personal work.
And a lot of it seems like the efficiency and just trying to be mindful and not wasting time. And
Yeah, exactly. Basically, you need to visualize everything in your mind a little bit, like, okay, this is what I want, kind of. Of course, when you start doing it, you will kind of realize how it's, in which direction it's going. A hint which you have in your mind should always be there. It will help you, as I said, trust the process thing. Yeah.
all right, yeah. Well, what are you making next? I know you did
Oh, yeah.
Cyclops, and are you doing more of these? And you want to show that off?
Yes, yeah, I'll do that.
What are the next projects you're doing?
Right. So this is a concept art by, I think,
Yeah, this looks great,
Scott.
man. This is like a different style now
Yeah, it is
too.
a different style, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like cell shaded.
Yeah. One second, I'll take off the concept
Very
art,
cool.
which is that thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the hair highlight is sick too. Crazy.
So yeah, even Scott was kind of happy about it. He kind of liked it. So the thing is, as I said, I made this outlines very deliberate so that it looks kind of good from this beauty shot as well. And then when you kind of rotate it, it still kind of helps. So I put it in such a way that it kind of, you can see the outline here, and when it rotates, it still kind of looks not that bad. It kind of looks like a comic drawing there. So this is quite simplified and very graphical sculpt.
Yeah, dude,
And then
super
for this,
cool.
I think I took it to Marmoset and just did a quick lighting little bit. Let me see if I have that, because I wanted to try it out there. So yeah, I'm still in the learning stage of Marmoset. Unreal, I have to still touch it.
Mars, that's fun and easy. It's
Yeah,
cool.
it is fun and
Yeah.
easy. Yeah, I kind of realized that it's very nice, and it has those settings in the cameras, like a lot of post production settings, which are really cool.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think I did
You
this
can do
one.
anything you want.
So this was more in Marmoset.
Oh yeah, cool.
So it kind of gives a nice depth of field
Yep.
view to it as well. So yeah, this is, so just two lights. One is the pre-light, one is the backlight. That's it. I've put the lights deliberately on the back so that it kind of mimics the highlight which I have painted already.
It's like a slightly more cinematic version of
Yeah,
what you did already.
yeah, exactly. And then just, I think I use few shaders for the highlights over here on this red part, but not much. Try to keep it simple.
Yeah, very cool.
And then in Photoshop, I think, 1 second. Yeah, so that did.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, so when I rendered it out of Marmoset, I kind of felt it has to kind of pop out a little bit more, and I was like experimenting with what kind of background I want and stuff. And those background kind of makes a lot of difference sometimes, So I was trying different colors and different shades, and this is kind of the color which I kind of liked, and I thought that it kind of complementing the orange and the yellowish. So this one, and I just added those few strokes there, and it kind of to make it a bit nicer then. So if you see, this is just one pass from Marmoset, and that's it, with some brightness and contrast and some color correction, like with the color balance thing. Yeah, this thing I usually is to try and change if I want it warmer or cooler. And that's it for this one. So yeah, this is just like a 2-day project again, which I made.
Yeah, sick, man.
And the thing is, these personal projects don't pay you, but it basically makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
I can see you already got 2 going. I mean, you might as well do the whole X-Men, Or
Yeah,
however long it takes.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, sick, man. All right. Well, anything you like to let people know about that are listening? I'm gonna put obviously your socials and your ArtStation project in the description. But you mentioned you have tutorials and anything else. If people want to learn more about what you do or learn more from you, where can they go?
Yeah, I think I have my Sculpketch course on my ArtStation. So if people like to
Okay, great.
see my workflow, So basically, I have done, I think, a 10 hours recording with commentary, as well as there's a full real-time footage also been provided without the commentary, because that's like, 20 or 15 hours of work. And I've also done an iPad version of the Catwoman. Is it a Catwoman? Yeah, I think so. So I've done that as well, so they can try it out if they want to use iPad. So if you're going out somewhere and if you have an iPad, you can still try things in ZBrush on that. So because I was not comfortable doing iPad when I was out, but then I was like stuck outside for like 4 days, and I said, but luckily I had my iPad. I said, okay, let me try, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It is a bit slow because you're not used to the UI and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it was fun. I completed that, and I've added that as a bonus chapter in the course. So yeah, if people want
Great.
to have a look at it.
Have you thought about trying things like Nomad? I think Nomad.
Yeah, I
don't know if
want to
there's
try
another one
that.
too.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of cool stuff coming out of Nomad. I think the shadows and stuff works quite
Yeah, me too.
nice. Yeah, I saw
I
few.
haven't tried it yet, but yeah, it
Yeah,
looks cool.
it looks really cool. Yeah, ZBrush is, because I'm so used to ZBrush. Like just
Same.
I'm used to Maya. It's very
Same.
difficult to shift. Like I want to learn Blender for
know.
years, but it's very difficult to shift.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe I'm old school, but I want to shift things at some point. But yeah, Nomad, I'm seeing people showing some nice shadows and stuff in real time, which is really cool. Maybe I'd like to try that out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it feels like you can do. Honestly, it feels like you could make this level stuff on an iPad end to end because
Yeah,
you wouldn't need like Marmoset and Photoshop and all that stuff. So that's what's interesting to me. But I don't do much work on iPad. But when I see people posting, I think, wow, that's cool. If I was younger, and I probably would get into
yeah.
that.
The thing is, as I said, like I don't try and go to iPad. It's only when I'm outside. If I don't have anything, let's do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, iPad is the way to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I'll put links below if you guys want to check out, obviously check out this full work in resolution and I mean in its full glory there. And then check out his Sculpketch tutorial and everything. Thank you very much for your
Jay.
time,
It
Rishikesh. I appreciate it, dude. Been a fan for a while. I know we
Same
correspond
here,
online
man.
and
I'm a big
everything.
fan of you. Like basically, like to let everyone know, even I started rendering, learning from you. My first one was that guy in the yellow.
Yeah, the Arnold
thing.
tutorial. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first thing, and that actually boost my confidence of rendering in Arnold, because before that I never used to render stuff. Your tutorial really helped me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm also going
I'm
to go
happy
through
to
your
hear that.
Unreal thing as well. Hopefully sometime soon, because I'm busy with my commission work and this personal stuff. But yeah, I have to go through that.
I know we all want to learn a bunch of things. I appreciate it, dude. And I mean, you're cooking up awesome stuff, so you're
Cheers,
inspiring
man.
too. And
Cheers.
thank you for sharing your process with everyone. I mean, it's inspiring stuff, and I love hearing this. I'm sure a lot of other people do. And
Thank you, man.
so yeah, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening up till now. And yeah, other than that, catch you guys in the next one.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Cheers.